The Meghan Markle who constantly complained about every little thing, who used various media platforms to imply that the royals were racists and didn't care that she was suicidal, and that Kate Middleton made her cry, that Meghan is gone. She no longer exists. Meghan Markle 2.0 has taken her place. Easy-going, relaxed, laissez-faire. As cool as ice. You don't believe it? Look at her on Monday, in her first public appearance this year, introducing a TED Talk. She's in soft focus, with greys and pinks, glossy hair, and a big smile. Still not convinced? Later that evening, she and Harry were seen cuddling at an NBA playoff game, with a kiss cam catching them laughing and having a good time, even if Meghan's well-placed arm kept Harry from getting an actual kiss. This new Meghan is carefree, joyful, living her best life out loud. Nothing is holding her back. Nothing bothers her, not even the Brits who are clearly thinking negative thoughts about her in anticipation of King Charles' coronation. Despite weeks of negotiations with Buckingham Palace over what role she, Prince Harry, and their children will play at the coronation, Meghan has chosen not to attend, taking the path of least resistance and making things easier for everyone else. This is despite multiple reports that Harry and Meghan were threatening not to go unless they had a place on the Buckingham Palace balcony with the royals who actually work without complaint. They forego reality shows and book deals in which they spill all manner of secrets and spite. But Meghan's brand seems to be resentment, vengeance, pettiness, and profit-seeking. She's always yelling racism, and seeking the spotlight like a special ops team on the hunt for a high-value target, then demanding that everyone leave her and Harry alone. So when news broke that Meghan wasn't attending the coronation over an unsatisfactory exchange with Charles, personal letters she had written expressing upset over unconscious bias within the royal family, it seemed like business as usual for her. Not so, says Meghan. Never, ever, ever. In no universe would she dare. I mean, who can forget that smug grin on her face as she sat across from Oprah Winfrey and accused a senior royal of making inappropriate comments about her unborn child's skin color? Talk about stirring the pot, am I right? But don't worry, Meghan and Harry have so much integrity. Their stories are totally consistent, and when they say something, we can really believe them. That's why it was such a shock when Meghan accepted an award from the Kennedys for standing up to structural racism within the royal family, only to have her husband walk back that claim weeks later. And just when we thought we couldn't get enough of their hypocrisy, Meghan's mouthpiece Omid Scobie, or as I like to call him, Scooby-Dooby-Doo, released a strongly worded denial from a spokesperson over the weekend. And you won't believe how it started. The Duchess of Sussex, because apparently we're never, ever giving up that royal title, is going about her life in the present, not thinking about correspondence from 2 years ago related to conversations from 4 years ago. Any suggestion otherwise is false and frankly ridiculous. Let's break this down, shall we? Firstly, the fact that they're still holding onto that royal title while trying to distance themselves from the royal family is laughable. And secondly, we all know that Meghan loves to hold onto a grudge, so the idea that she's not thinking about correspondence from 2 years ago is just absurd. The notion that Meghan Markle isn't dwelling on old grudges is laughable. In fact, she has built her entire public persona on relitigating past conversations and correspondence, turning her grievances into a commodity. It's practically her superpower and part of her origin story. Remember how we first got to know Meghan? It wasn't through some mundane TV show or her uninspired lifestyle blog. It was via a Vanity Fair cover story that hailed her as Britain's next royal, with the coverline "She's just wild about Harry." But instead of basking in the glow of that endorsement, Meghan accused the magazine of racism because the song "I Am Just Wild About Harry" was sung in blackface by Judy Garland in 1939. It was an absurd complaint, but it set the tone for her future behavior. From that point on, Meghan has been a relentless complainer, constantly moaning and carping even as she enjoys enormous fame, wealth, and privilege. And yet she has the nerve to blame the media for creating an exhausting circus around her. Excuse me? Who has given countless interviews to Oprah, Time magazine, and other outlets? Who has penned a memoir and starred in a Netflix docuseries? Who has launched a podcast that positions herself as an archetypal guru? Meghan has been the driving force behind all of this publicity, and yet she claims to be the victim of media harassment. In the Netflix show, Meghan even insulted the late Queen and mocked the etiquette of curtsying. It's a wonder she hasn't been banished from the royal family altogether. Yet she expects us to believe that she's too busy and too high-minded to obsess over years-old correspondence? Please. The truth is that Meghan is a petty and vindictive person who can't let go of any slight, no matter how small. Her decision to skip the coronation is just another example of her self-centeredness and lack of respect for tradition. Let's not forget the audacity of Meghan's husband, who also happens to be her lapdog, as he printed a private text exchange between Meghan and Catherine, then known as the Duchess of Cambridge, in his memoir. While the violation of privacy is certainly not to be overlooked, it does shed light on how petty and small-minded Meghan can be. It's clear from the exchange that she spoke to her future sister-in-law with a lack of respect, despite Kate outranking her in the royal hierarchy. It's also worth noting how vengeful Meghan must have been to hold onto this exchange, with the intention of using it for her own benefit in the future. Her lack of self-awareness is striking, as she failed to realize that this act only made her look bad, not Kate, whose young daughter was struggling with her bridesmaid dress. The text exchange itself is a masterclass in American passive aggression. Kate expresses her concern over her daughter's ill-fitting dress, and Meghan responds by telling her to take Charlotte to the tailor, like the other mothers. The underlying message is clear. Kate may be the future Queen of England, but she's not that special. The exchange took place in 2018, but Meghan clearly held onto it for a reason. She gave it to her husband, who used it in his poison pen memoir that was published 5 years later. So when Meghan denies being consumed by years-old discontents, it's hard to believe her. It's likely that her Duchess of Endless Despair and Grievance persona will soon overtake her new cool girl image. Meanwhile, the royals have once again expertly played their hand. According to Meghan's biographer Tom Bauer, everyone in the palace is delighted that she won't be attending any events. On behalf of sane Americans everywhere, it's safe to say that we share in that sentiment. And there you have it, another controversial topic tackled by our channel. Let us know in the comments what you thought of this video. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more content like this. Thanks, and I see you guys next time.